You're broke because you want to be by Larry Winget. The real secret, what you think about, talk about, and get off your ass and do something about comes about. You need this book. Do you spend more than you earn? Do you worry about how you're going to pay your bills? Are you barely getting by? Do you live paycheck to paycheck? Are your credit cards maxed out? Do you have a shopping problem? Do you have little or no savings? Is Social Security your only retirement plan? Do you have more debt that you can afford to make payments on? Are you terrified of an emergency that will leave you financially devastated? If you missed a paycheck, would you be screwed? Are you clueless about how to fix your situation? If you answered yes to even one of those questions, you need this book. I don't really want to be rich. I just want to be comfortable. Comfortable means that you don't feel bad, but you don't feel all that great either. Most people are comfortable. That's the problem. Comfortable people don't feel bad enough to change, but don't feel good enough to really be able to enjoy their lives. Either way, their future is doomed. People never make changes in their lives when they are comfortable. You have to get uncomfortable in order to make a positive change in life. This book is supposed to make you uncomfortable. You will never change until you first become uncomfortable. Keep on succeeding, for only successful people can help others. Dr. Robert Schuller. Money defines you. Some of you will have a real problem with that statement. The fact that I said those three words will upset some people so much they will call me shallow, greedy, and lots of other uncomplimentary things. However, you can argue with the statement all you want, and I will still be right. When you think of Diddy or P. Diddy or Puff Daddy or Sean Combs or whatever his name is this year, do you think of him as an African-American, a male, an entertainer, a movie star, a fashion mogul, or do you think of him as rich? I'm betting rich. Is he a good person? Is he benevolent? Is he a total jerk? Beats me. I don't know him. I do know that he's rich. Donald Trump, what immediately defines him? His hair, his real estate, his television show, The Apprentice? Sorry, those things don't come to mind first. When you think of him, it's his money. He's rich. Love him or hate him, those thoughts come after you think of how rich he is. Money defines Donald Trump to each of us. Money determines the neighborhood you grow up in. It determines the clothes you wear. Money usually decides who your friends will be and how others will treat you. Money decides whether you will go to college or not. Money usually even picks the college. Money determines the house you live in, the car you drive, and the clothes you wear. It determines whether you get a good doctor or an amazing doctor. It determines whether you hire an ambulance chaser or the best defense attorney money can buy. It determines every restaurant you go to, every store you shop in, and every entertainment activity you attend. Money even determines the size of your gravestone and the quality of the casket you will be buried in. Fair? Probably not. But life simply isn't always fair. It is what it is. This is the reality. I don't make the rules. I just try to figure them out, play by them, and win in spite of them. Money always matters. While money always matters, sometimes people expect too much for money. There are many things that money won't do for you. Money won't bring you happiness. Happy people are happy whether they have money or not. Happiness is a choice. Let's not give money much credit when it comes to being happy and not being happy. There are rich people who are happy and rich people who are miserable, but at least rich people are miserable in a better part of town. Money won't buy you friends. The friend that money can buy isn't much of a friend. When the money goes, so will the friend. Money can buy you companionship, though. You can do it if you want to do it. You may not be able to make your life perfect, but you can certainly make it better than it is. The biggest mistake you can make is to believe that your situation is hopeless. It's not hopeless because you aren't helpless. Accept responsibility for where you are and then go about fixing it. Give yourself a little credit. You're reading this book, aren't you? Without even looking at what you have just written, I can tell you that there is a problem with your list. You aren't on the list. That's right. The list of reasons for not doing well in your life is actually a very short list. It should only contain your name. Why don't you just go back and add it? People do not want to take responsibility for the scarcity in their lives. It's much easier to blame circumstances, others, events, or even God for the things they have failed to acquire or achieve. Dr. Wayne Dyer. The big shocker. You don't have a money problem. I don't have any problem. To me, that seems like a problem. The fact that you don't have any money is a result of all your other problems. You have a thinking problem, an attitude problem, a self-esteem problem. You're lazy, you lack discipline, you lack integrity, you don't take responsibility, you lack goals, your priorities are out of whack. Your biggest problem is not in your wallet or your bank account. Your biggest problem is between your ears. You will fix your money problems when you fix your other problems. That's what we are going to address right now. Am I against expensive fancy weddings? No, but for that couple, the expense was out of scale with their income. One day of happiness and some good pictures, and then 30 years to pay it off doesn't compute. You have to get your priorities straight before you ever are going to get your money straight. You need a written down list of exactly what is important to you. You do have that, don't you? I just live. I have the stuff I have the money to pay for, or the stuff they will allow me to charge. My life is just the way it is. I don't have a list. There is your problem. No list. We're going to fix that right now. Make a list of what is important to you. Write down everything that really matters. The jeans had a tear on one of the pockets. The significance of that tear was that it made it obvious that I only had one pair of jeans. One day, one of the kids in my class said to me, Winget, you wear the same pair of jeans every day. Can't you afford more than one pair of jeans? He said it in front of a lot of people, and most importantly, a lot of girls that would have done anything to impress. I tried to laugh it off and say that I had lots of jeans and somehow I tore them all in the same spot, but I was still busted. I knew it and they knew it. My parents were great people and doing what they could, but the bottom line was that I was a poor kid with only one pair of blue jeans to wear to school every day. I hated it. At that moment in Muskego, Oklahoma, at Alice Robertson Junior High School in eighth grade civics class, Larry Winget decided he was going to be rich. While I had no idea how I would ever be rich, I knew I would do anything not to be poor. I couldn't bear the humiliation of being poor and having people know it. That decision shaped my life. I got rich at that moment. It took me more than 30 years to make it happen. After my decision to get rich, I began taking action. I got a picture in my head what rich people look like, felt like, and smelled like. I started writing things down. I made lists with details of how I wanted to live and what I wanted to have. I affirmed wealth. The first thing every morning that came out of my mouth was, I am happy, I am healthy, I am rich. Feel the pain. Know what you cost yourself and your family. Know how your irresponsibility is going to affect your life for a good long while, maybe forever. Then, after you feel appropriately remorseful, wipe away the tears, suck it up, and get mad about it. Anger can be a very healthy emotion when used to motivate yourself into positive action. Get angry and fight back. Yes, I said fight. You are in a battle. You need to steal your confidence with anger. Be angry that you messed up. Be angry that you didn't keep your word to your creditors. Get mad at yourself for all your mistakes. Get sad, get mad, and then get on with it. The progression for moving forward. Remorse leads to anger, leads to determination. Now answer these questions. How much money would you like to earn? How much money would you like to save? How much money would you like to give to charity? How much money would you like to have in an education account, an emergency fund? How would you like to dress? Where would you like to travel? At which restaurants would you like to eat? What kind of car would you like to drive? What would you like to own? What kind of house would you like to live in? What part of town would you like to live in? You get it by now. So what do you want? How would you like to live? Write it down. Stop spending. The whole principle. HOLE. When you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. It doesn't make sense to go any deeper in debt, so don't. Plug the hole, stop the hemorrhaging, spend money only on the necessities. What are the necessities? Shelter, your rent or your house payment, and this includes utilities, food. That means eating conservatively at home, bills, your obligations, money you have already spent that must be paid back. Those are the necessities: a roof over your head, food in your tummy, getting out of debt, and remember, no new debt. Keep a journal. Part of knowing where you are is to keep a journal of your expenses. Get a little blank book or even a spiral notebook, put the date at the top, and draw a vertical line. Write down what you spend your money on. In order to have what you have never had and get something you have never gotten, you have to do something you have never done. How to make money. You can't make money, you can only earn money. Never again say, I need to make money. You aren't the Treasury Department and you don't get to print it up when you need it. You have to earn it. That's always where the money comes from. Instead, say, I need to earn more money. Are you willing to take on an extra job to pay off your bills earlier? Or if you aren't willing to do whatever it takes to get ahead, then you don't deserve to get ahead. Sell stuff. If you were in a desperate need of cash to pay your obligations, then sell your stuff. When I filed for bankruptcy and was in serious financial trouble, I sold everything. My wife and I agreed that we wouldn't sell our wedding rings, but everything else was fair game. I even sold our sofa and living room chairs. We sat on the floor. I hated it. It was humiliating, but I did it. I had to. I needed the cash to pay my commitments. My commitments meant more to me than my stuff. Begin by selling your toys. It's not playtime anymore. It's time to save your butt. Get rid of the boat, the motorcycle, the RV, the four-wheelers, the gym equipment. I bet you don't use you don't use anyway the fishing equipment, the hunting equipment, the golf clubs, the jet skis, and the bicycles. But Larry, those are my hobbies. I love that stuff. Too bad. Bye bye. You can buy new stuff once your bills are paid off and you're in a better place financially. Next, go to your closet. Go to the bad end of your closet. Pull everything out and get all of it ready for a yard sale or the consignment shop. I know it is hard to get rid of the things you have. You like your stuff. We all do. But this is the time to like getting out of debt more than you like your own, the things you own. It's just stuff. Stop being so attached. It's unhealthy, especially if you're holding on to it as a symbol of prosperity that doesn't reflect the reality of your situation. Some great book recommendations to become wealthy. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Manifest Your Destiny by Dr. Wayne Dyer. Creating Affluence by Deepak Chopra. You Were Born Rich by Bob Proctor. Why You're Dumb, Sick, and Broke, and How to Get Smart, Healthy, and Rich by Randy Gage. After you've read about the philosophy of being rich, it's time to get very practical advice about getting rich. I can help you get you from broke to breaking even so you will have some money to start building wealth and getting rich. But the next step is up to you. To take it to the next level, try these books. Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Start Late, Finish Rich by David Bach. Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi. The Millionaire Zone by Jennifer Openshaw. Go Put Your Strengths to Work by Marcus Buckingham. Be thankful for what you have. I don't have very much, so what do I have to be thankful for? You could have less, couldn't you? Sure you could. Remember that old saying, I felt sorry for the man who had no shoes until I saw a man who had no feet. Things could be worse for you. Don't ever say anything stupid like, boy, things couldn't get any worse than this. Believe me, there's one thing I've learned about life. It is that things can always get worse. So even when things appear to be terrible for you, be thankful that they aren't worse. You have the talent and the ability to improve things. You can make things better. That alone is plenty to be thankful for. To remind yourself of all the good you have going for yourself in the midst of all the bad, I want you to make a list. Yes, another list. The more you are thankful for what you have, the more you will have to be thankful for, Zig Ziglar. Shopaholics and enablers. People shop for lots of reasons. They do it to feel better about themselves, to be somebody they really aren't, and out of a sense of entitlement. They do it to relieve stress because they are happy and because they are sad. Some people shop and simply spend out of habit. The issue I see the most is that people shop to escape. They can't face their real lives, and shopping brings them some temporary comfort from their lousy relationships, their self-esteem problems, and even their lack of money. I worked with a guy who told me he went shopping because it made him feel better about the fact he had money problems that existed because he shopped too much. Get new habits. Many people spend out of habit. They buy takeout on Tuesday nights, they get a latte on their way to work. On Saturdays, they go to the mall, they check their email and then hit eBay, even though they don't want anything or need anything. Don't fall into this trap. You especially need new habits if your situation has changed. You are used to shopping with your friends and going out to lunch and having a drink after work, but you got laid off or divorced or had a financial emergency. So your situation has changed and you can't do it any longer. Explain to your friends and replace that habit with a new one. Try the library. When I suggested the library to a woman, she responded with, and what would I do there? I laughed in her face. I suggested she might try finding a book to read. She said, yuck. I asked, how about the park for a walk? She made an ugly face at me. She loved walking around the malls, but couldn't find the energy to walk around the park. Overweight, not very smart, and unwilling to do a damn thing about it. I can't tell you what to do. Find something that doesn't cost any money that can occupy your time. Just don't go shopping. The commonalities of affluence that John learned from working with very wealthy people came down to these few things: competency, hard work, perseverance, serve others according to their needs, not your own, spend less than you make. John read hundreds of books and filled dozens of notebooks with the ideas he learned. He went to seminars and workshops and started really evaluating how he spent his time. He looked at the people he was hanging out with and decided he needed to change some of them. He wasn't afraid to work longer and harder than other people were. He adopted the motto, I will do today what others will not do, so in the future, I can do what others cannot do, and he made it come true. As you read the stories about my friends, did you notice any similarities? There are many. Each started with almost nothing. Each faced adversity. Each had every excuse in the world to stay broke, yet refused to. Each made a decision to be wealthy. Each worked smarter, harder, faster, and longer than their peers did. Each studied success. Each had goals they were willing to take action on. Each of them stuck with it even when it sucked. Take a good hard look at your life, then look at the similarities above. Now go to work. No excuses and no whining. Use these stories to inspire you to better things. It's not about talent or being special. It's about a willingness to do what it takes. Maybe getting rich seems impossible to you. Maybe just getting back to even seems impossible to you. I remember when it did for me. The whole concept might be something you just can't get your arms around. It doesn't matter. You still have to work on it every day. You have to spend a little, save a little more, pay a little more on your debt, read a little more, do a little more, and you have to do it all every day. You can't miss a day. Larry's 12 ways to go from getting by to getting ahead. No, where, number one, know where you are. Two, take responsibility for the situation. Three, feel bad about it, experience remorse. Four, make the decision for things to be different. Five, know exactly what you want your life to look like. Six, create an action plan to get there. Seven, know what you're willing to give up to get what you want. Eight, spend less than you earn. Nine, figure out ways to earn more. 10, stop all unnecessary spending. 11, pay off debts as quickly as possible and only go into debt for things with long-term value. 12, build a cushion, save.